G'day, Josh Boorman from Boorman Lawyers, just outside Tweed Heads Local Court. That's the government department building behind me here. I've just appeared on a mid-range street drive. 0.122 was the reading. So the reading was certainly getting up there, closer to the high range, well, at the top end of the mid-range category. I guess the facts of this matter were a little bit more unusual than your regular drink drive. My client lives in Queensland at Ilimba, which is just north of Caboolture, but he had travelled down to the Picton area to stay with a friend just in the Tarmore suburb, and that was in early December 2022. On the night of the offence, he had gone to the Tarmore Inn with his friend and his friend's wife. At the beginning of the night, his friend's wife said, "Listen, if you want a drink to my client, if you want to have some drinks, then I'll organise a friend of mine to come and pick us up at the end of the night, take us home so you can leave your car here." My client agreed, and he started drinking, had some dinner, had several drinks throughout the night. Then as the night came to an end, his friend organised the designated driver to come and pick them up. My client, anyone who knows the Tarmore Inn knows that there's a front car park which is quite open to the main road and very visible. And there's also a back section to the Tarmore Inn where there's just a gravel sort of car park there, which is relatively unused. My client was worried about leaving his vehicle there overnight for fear that it could get broken in or stolen or damaged, and he spoke to the publican and asked if he could park his vehicle around the back of the pub. So that was what his intention was. At the end of the night, the designated driver came. He jumped into his vehicle with the intention of relocating it around the back of the venue. As he was doing so, police arrived on the scene, and they decided to pull him over. Now, one of his friends had been in his vehicle earlier in the day that afternoon and was caught speeding, and high-range speeding in his car, and was put off the road immediately. So the police suspected that the driver of my client's vehicle was this friend of his who had been put off the road and was unlicensed. So that's why they took up with the car to begin with. But then they realised my client was driving, and they subjected him to a breath test. My client was initially difficult with them because he didn't believe that he was doing anything wrong. He believed that he was allowed to move his vehicle within the confines of the pub car park, as he hadn't driven onto a public road. But the law says that even a car park is considered a road-related area. So if over the limit driving the vehicle on a road-related area, you can still be charged for a PCA offence. And as such, my client it was a 0.122 reading, and he was charged and put before the court. His matter went to Picton Local Court. We had a plea of guilty entered, and the matter transferred up to Tweed Heads Local Court, the closest court to the Queensland border, to enable our client to travel down to be here at court today. He did a traffic offenders program. He got some references, a good strong letter of apology, and we were also able to get a bird's eye satellite printout of the actual Tarmore in the pub, just to show the court exactly the geographical land that we were dealing with, the car park at the front, the space at the back, and we drew a direction on the map just to show where our client was going, and how it was only probably 30 to 40 metres that he had driven his car with the intention of leaving it there for the night. So the objective seriousness was very low, despite the reading being quite high into the middle range category. So it was a bit of a weighing up situation for the magistrate today to consider the reading, but also to consider the low level of objective seriousness. We did push a strong subjective case to show that our client has just started his own business as a mobile mechanic. His need to drive is critical to him being able to see customers, service and test their vehicles any time off the road means that he's unable to work, support his family, young children, and satisfy his mortgage. So a very strong subjective case. He did the traffic offenders program, showed genuine remorse, and I did submit a bold request for the court to consider a conditional release order without proceeding to conviction, without proceeding to any further disqualification, any interlock order, and no fine. And that was granted today, but our client was put on a 2-year conditional release order, which is like a 2-year good behaviour bond, which he has to comply with. A very, very relieved client today. He had a good record. He has pretty much no entries, unblemished record for the past 20 years, which also heavily worked in his favour. Just showed this matter was completely out of character for him. I think it's highly unlikely we'll ever see our client before the criminal justice system again, but thankfully sane heads prevailed on this occasion. A very measured and reasonable outcome by the court today, and a very ecstatic and over-the-moon client. Thanks for tuning in here at Tweed Heads Local Court. I want to thank you for tuning into Boorman Lawyers today. You can catch us at any of the usual social media platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you've got any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to contact us on 1300 941 900. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video today. I really hope it was informative and helpful for you. There's another couple of videos below that you might want to check out that may be very useful for the process that you might be going through at the moment. Please feel free to like, follow, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we've always got fresh new content coming through all the time.